Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean, and I'm bringing you another turn. This should be part 6 of turn 3, Next War, World War III. So I am in the reaction move and reaction movement and combat segment, which is part of the basic movement and combat. So let's go over here. I'll show you real quick because it confused me. I thought I was here, but that's only for the initiative turn. Let's see. So actually we are here. So we're kind of over here. Then we did move and combat. These 3 pieces are not in the initiative move and combat because we did that up there. So we're down here. We are in the reaction move and combat. Man, I had to think about it myself. I'm starting to confuse myself sometimes. So this is definitely going to be interesting. But anyway, so reaction move. So basically it is the Rock Army and the U.S. Army. One thing I forgot to do prior is the refugees that are escaping from the DMZ. I have forgotten to take that into account. So these guys right here, probably the 2nd Infantry Division probably wouldn't be there, but I'm not going to take all that back. So refugee movement does affect it. So basically highways now are 1 movement point apiece. So this 2nd Army headquarters only moved, they were here, so they only moved to here. I debated here. So these guys are pretty much done. I really debated right here what to do. Do I pull all of these guys back and move them to here? Or do I make my stand? It is infantry in a mountain, and it's a fortified DMZ. So I'm leaving these guys here. I really don't want to, but I think that's probably the best. These guys are going to make the stand here in front of this airfield. Really wasn't much to decide right here. I just kind of, it's going to be tough. Here, let's see here, right here. Actually, there we go. This right here, this line, it's really making me pause and think about what I want to do with them. With all of this coming in, it's just, I think it would almost be foolish to stand and fight. Like, obviously this is just a headquarters, so you need to move. This is a corps headquarters. Your entire corps has been wiped out, so that's the only thing left of the 5th Corps. And is it the 5th Corps? So that is the 3rd Army. Yeah, that's the 5th Corps headquarters. That's the only thing left of the 5th Corps. All of the line units are gone. They've been eliminated. So this guy has to move out, right? Like, I can't give up that headquarters. So let's take him out of the equation because he's not even a combat unit, right? So this is what we have left right here. And then we have a headquarters here, which obviously you're not a combat unit. We've got 1 infantry division. We've got a mechanized infantry division. Now he's in pretty good. He's pretty decent. He's got an 11 defense, and he is in a city, and it's a fortified hex. So, and it's Highland. So he's probably going to stay there. So what I think I need to do is, let's look. We'll put some arrows down here, make this a little bit easier. So I think if I put my line somewhere right there, so if I basically collapse these guys back to here. Now, here's the other thing. Do they have enough movement points to get there on that line? And by collapsing that way, it's basically going to open the door for all of this North Korean stuff to just kind of move right around. So, yeah, I'm really having to think about what I want to do, because these guys, they just can't stand and fight. realistically, I mean, well, these 2 units, that's a 10 defense. But if they throw Chem in there again, you know, it'll be worth it for the North Koreans to throw that Chem. So right now, the North Koreans are sitting at, just in this turn right now, they're sitting at 36 victory points. So that's huge. The Allies are sitting at 2 victory points. So the North Koreans, the momentum is definitely in their favor. So I'm really thinking about pulling these guys back. But the thing is now is like, how far can they go? So let me look at the road movement because of refugees, and we'll kind of figure out maybe how far they can go. All right, so this is kind of the terrible situation that I'm looking at right here. All right, let me back up just a little bit. There we go. So non-road movement is doubled. Primary road is times 1.5, and then highways become secondary roads. So primary road is 1.5. So leg infantry on a primary road is normally a half movement point. So that's 1.5 movement points. So this guy, this 11th Division, 1st Army 11th Division, they can't get that way. There's no way possible they can get over there. So you can basically, you're going to be able to move 2 hexes. So you can go 1, 2. So you'll be able to make the stand here. Let's do that just to remember where you're at. He can pull back behind the river. That's about it. So these guys are probably going to have to join. They're going to have to join these guys over here. Because there's no way they can get over there. It's just not going to happen. So we'll do that. We'll move here. I probably, rather than evacuating him over here, that will give, let's do that. I really hate, I don't like having headquarters on the front lines, but that's an additional 2 defense. So that'd be 10 attack factors. In Highland Woods, armor and mechanized are halved attacking into Highland Woods. So that's probably decent defensive terrain. It just depends on how much the North Koreans send over this way. So I'm going to go with that. This headquarters, which is right here, non-road movement is doubled. So basically you can always move 1 hex. So basically they can move 1 hex because Rough Woods, I think, is 2 for leg. So that would cost them 4 movement points to get here. So basically 4 movement points to get here or here. So I think they'll end up going here. And they'll make a stand with the infantry unit. There's that attack helicopter. I'll probably rebase that attack helicopter. I'm going to get him out of there. Because there's no... He's been used up this turn. Or for the rest of this game turn, so he has no combat capabilities because we've used both capabilities. So I'm going to fly that helicopter out of there. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. So he is going to rebase to right there. This guy stays here. Is it fortified? It is fortified, so that's definitely a good thing. So what we'll do is we'll move that headquarters. As much as I hate, I want that headquarters out of there. Although his entire core is gone. Oh, here we go. See, I hate it, hate it. All right, what are we doing? I don't even remember if this guy was used or not. I think he was 1 use, or it had been used once. So he's moved. I'll cant those guys sideways to signify they've moved, even though they haven't really moved, but that'll let me know that I'm not moving them. Let's see here. What do we have here? That's a city. So that is, primary road is 1.5 for leg. So that would be one, so that'd be 3. So we'll move this guy here. That gets him off the line. He can still support. He's got these guys, and he's got these guys that he can support. God, this is such a terrible, terrible situation. Basically, we've been given a shit sandwich, and how do you eat one of those when you have no choice but to eat it? You got to eat it one little bite at a time. So let's get these guys to here. As much as I don't want to do that. Oh, he's purple. I hate to break him up from his higher headquarters, but I don't see not being able to do that. Yeah, I don't like separating guys from their headquarters. That's definitely a no bueno thing. And then we'll move those guys there. So there you have it. That is, and I still have to decide what I'm going to do with these guys here. There's probably like these. So you've got that guy. He is amazing. So that is I think the 7th Army, 20th Division. No, that's the 3rd Army, 7th Corps, 20th Division. So, yeah, if we do we, I think we try to, I mean, we've got that river right there, so, but they've kind of made a breakthrough. So we need to get some guys right here. Can we get some guys right there? These guys are both reduced. I'll be able to get replacements for them, because if we don't do any combat, that'll pretty much be it. We'll go from the basic movement and combat phase, because we are in reaction, so there'll be no more, the North Koreans can't attack anymore. So we'll go from the reaction, movement, and combat to isolation, reorg, reinforcement, victory, determination, and then it'll be game turn 2. So there's going to be no more combat unless I want it. And honestly, none of these guys are in a position to do any kind of combat. So we just need to figure out the best way to place these guys. We do have the river in some of these locations. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and let me think about this for a bit. All right, I've completed the movement for the Allies, and I'm not happy with this situation. This is a terrible situation, but hey, this is why we war game, right? Look at that. I can't even do that. Yeah. This is why we war game, right? To see what ifs. So basically, I left most of these guys here. There's a big boy underneath there, a 911, so that's good. So he'll stay here. We've got 2 6.8s there. These guys are going to stay here because, well, I haven't looked at the replacements that the Allies will get on turn 1, which is probably not much, right? But so these guys are off the line, so that way if we can reconstitute anything there, then they'll be able to do it, because you can't be in a ZOC. I moved this big boy up. Can you see that? No, this thing doesn't focus. So that guy, he's moved up on the line. I moved these guys are 2-2s, so they're not much, but whatever. It's better than nothing, right? I move these guys there. This other big unit, I'm just kind of leaving them there, basically reactionary. All right, where can we fill in a gap if we need to? We've got this headquarters here. What was that 1st Corps? They just moved back 1. So just trying to get them off the line in case there's a breakthrough there. I left these Marines here. This is a stack of headquarters, 2 headquarters. And that's pretty much, I mean, that's it. It's definitely not what I wanted to see happen, but, it is what it is. So now we need to go over to Taiwan, and then we can reposition some Allied units, and that one will be pretty quick and easy. There's not going to be any combat here. There's really no situation where I'm going to find myself where, I mean, I could probably do a combat on this stack right here. What do we got? We're looking at, but see, then that might not be a bad idea. Let me take a look at that spot. That's probably the only spot, because I can hit this spot from here, here, and here. I would then have to move into that spot. The fortifications are now gone because it's been occupied, but we've got that river right there. That might be a good spot to attack. So let me look at that real quick before I move over to Taiwan. All right, I have just wrapped up the movement and combat for Next War Taiwan, for Taiwan. Let's see, the main thing that has happened, so right over here, didn't really do anything, I think. Moving these two brigades up, but otherwise nothing really happened here. I've shuffled some units around. I've decided to, again, make my stand behind a river. I think that's probably, I mean, it's really not a whole lot of choices, right? So there was no combat here. I decided to not do that combat. I was thinking about attacking this hex, but I decided not to. I could get 2-to-1 odds, but don't really have a lot of air support, have no helicopter support, so I just decided it's probably best to leave that one alone. So, with all that, we will start doing more of the admin type stuff. So isolation and surrender, I don't think there's any cases whatsoever where that is the case. So we'll go to reorg, reinforcements, and all that good stuff. All right, we have come to the point where we need to, during the reorg phase, reconsolidation and reorg phase, where we have to do clearing operations. So we have 2 in Taiwan, and then there is 1 over in Korea. All right, here's a die. I like that blue die, but whatever. So we have this one here. So you have to roll higher than that number to be successful. So we have a +2 DRM to that. So basically, if we roll a 0 or a 1, then that will be unsuccessful. So let us see. So that is successful. That is cleared. All right. There we go. That is now property of the People's Republic of China. They really appreciate that airfield. Or that, excuse me, that's not an airfield, that's an air base. All right, so that is that. This one over here, we have a +1 DRM. We have to roll higher than or equal to or higher than a 4. So that one has successfully been cleared. That was the one that kind of slowed us down this past turn, because we couldn't really mount any kind of offensives because this whole stack of guys was tied up. We couldn't mount any kind of decent offensives there because of that. Oh, I didn't even look at that. Look at that. That was an air base too. So that air base is now property of the People's Republic of China. That is going to be a big difference here. So we have to, I got to remember to give myself the VPs, but we also, where is it? Air bases captured or destroyed. So that would be 2. I don't think there was any destroyed. That one is from previous turn, and we've never spent the points to rebuild that. I don't really think it's, at this point in time, it's not really that big of a deal that we rebuild that air base. So let's go over to, this is the other big one, is right here. So we have a total of a -1 DRM. The big reason right there is because we had airborne guys. So on the turn that they airdrop in is a -1. On the turn that they amphibious assault in is a -1. I don't know if that, since that's a combined operation, would I give that a -1 each? Or because it's like a combined op, just one -1. And then what was the other thing? Oh, -1 per additional installation. And then what was the +2 for? Oh, the efficiency rating minus the stacking point. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give it a net 0 because I'm not going to combine the airborne and the amphibious -1s. I'm just going to give them a -1 overall. I think that probably makes a little more sense. At least in my head it makes sense. So there's going to be a 0 roll or a 0 DRM. So we have to roll a 4 or higher. And that is successful. And that's exactly what I wanted to happen. So that would have been successful even with the 2 -1s had I done that. Oh, all right. Oh, you know what I got to do? I did not do this. So that belongs to the North Koreans. So that is important because we were looking at a potential out of supply situation if those guys had not captured that port. And the reason that is because you can't, and I thought you could, I didn't look at it right, but you can't establish a beachhead at a port. So if I had established a beachhead, like say in this hex right here, then that would have been a source of supply. But because you can't do one at a port, and that's kind of where they invaded, those guys would have been out of supply. And that would have been really hard to capture that port in an out of supply situation because your efficiency ratings go down and all that. So that would have been tough, but things worked out. Looks like we conducted all of our clearing operations. So let's continue on with the reorg and see what happens next. All right, I have just figured out who's getting what reinforcements. I'm not going to go over supply points and all that kind of stuff because I really don't remember. But the Chinese basically are getting, let me get that glare out of the way. They're getting that, basically an entire division. Or actually, that is a corps. Special Forces. And this is what there we go. That's probably the best right there. So that's what good old Taiwan's getting. Of course, the U.S. is not at... They're only at intervention level 2, so that's part of the reason they're only getting that little bit of stuff. But honestly, I think so far Taiwan's kind of doing okay. So we'll put this, there we go, put that in that box. And I'm using these as the absolute limit. So if it says you get a Special Forces and there's not one in the eliminated box, then I'm not going to dip into the counter mixes of the other games. So we'll go ahead and put these guys over here. Got another chopper. Look at that. Some artillery. So we're definitely... We need that port. We need a port so we can get more guys onto the beaches. And then I think these guys, so they go anywhere between the yellow. And I think they go, I think they have to go on an urban or city hex if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that they go on an urban hex. But that's a pretty easy choice to make. We'll put them right there. And then this, so on the reinforcement chart, it lists an AMF. But if you want, you can bring it in Instead of an amp, you can bring it in as a sag, but you can never flip it back over to an amp. So, being what the situation is on the naval display, I'm going to bring in an amp as a sag. So these will go, I think, I might have to look. It's either going to go in Japan or Guam, but I don't remember which. We'll just say that it's going to go into Guam. So we'll put that sag into Guam. And then these guys, let me see, that's medium. What do we do? I'm not sure. This is going to be the same situation. Is it going to go to Guam or is it going to go to Japan? We're going to put this in Japan. So here, hold on. There we go, ready box. It's not like it can do anything anyway, because, well, not for Taiwan, because it is medium ranged. And then we have got, oops, almost fell down. All right, so the North Koreans didn't get any reinforcements or replacements. And the U.S. gets a carrier battle group. I think it might be a typo on the card. It says 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit. So you get A and B. But if you look right there in the top right corner, it says B on it. So I'm bringing in the 11th MEU, even though on the reinforcement card it says 31st. And then you get 1st Battalion, 4th Marines. You get 1st Brigade, 82nd Airborne Division. And, of course, you get that carrier battle group. So I think these guys, I'll have to figure out where those guys go. But I'm pretty sure the 82nd probably goes somewhere down there in the south. Or they'll go to Japan. It's one of those two places, but I'll have to figure out where all that stuff goes. All right, so the carrier battle group goes in the Japan holding box. Its air wing is here. And then the 82nd, there we go. The 82nd and the Marines, so 1st Battalion and the headquarters, it says they can go to any air base that does not have a Strike 2 marker on it. So I was thinking about putting them there, but that's a Strike 2 marker. So really honestly, the only other option, well, I could have put them way down there, but because that's kind of what I was thinking. I wanted to get them here so they could kind of react to what's going on over here. But that's just in a terrible place. It's going to take forever to get over here. So honestly, that's probably looking like my best. Let's go ahead and do this. Looking like my best option as far as, there they are right there. It's looking like my best option. And here is the front. So definitely not looking good. The South Koreans did spend some supply points to build their detection track back up. You're only allowed to spend 4 points maximum. So it was here. So for each 2 points, it moves up 1. So we got it to there. The North Koreans didn't do anything. And then I want to say that the Chinese spent 2 points to move their detection up to 8. And then we've got some replacements that we can use here. We've got a replacement that we can use for the South Korean Army. And that's pretty much it. I have to decide, there's one other thing. I have to decide if I want to reconstitute or replace any air units and or helicopter units. So I'll have to make that determination too, but we'll figure that out in a little bit. All right, for replacements, China had 2, so they just basically flipped this guy over. It costs 2 points to flip to basically to give replacements to a Marine battalion. Let's see here. And then the US/Taiwan, we spent 2 points. So this F-15 Charlie was in the destroyed over there. So you spend 2 points, it brings it back at half strength, and it goes into the flown box. And then this guy, he was up here, so it spends, you spend 2 points to flip it back to its full strength side, but it goes into the flown box. Now you can't bring back a unit from the destroyed to the flown and flip it over to its full strength side in the same turn. So this is a good air superiority fighter, so I definitely want to get him back in the game, but it's going to take another game turn to do that. China, what did they do? I know they flipped this guy over. I think that's all they did. They just had the one unit that he was already in the flown box. He was at his reduced side, so I spent the 2 points to flip him back over to his full strength side. So that, I mean, if you're going to repair units, the time to do it is when they're in the flown box, because if you repair a unit that's in the ready box, he goes to the flown box. Oh, you know what else? I forgot somebody. Yeah, look at that. Carrier Air Wing. Let's spend those 2 points. And then we'll do that. So you go there. Yeah, those carrier air wings are a big deal. Now for the Republic of China, or excuse me, we have the Rock and we have the Rock. Rock with a C, Rock with a K. There are no, I don't think either side has headquarters that are reduced, because you can do that as well during this time. Let's see, so the Republic of Korea, South Korea, it does have reduced units. So I have one replacement, I think, for an infantry division. It cost, I'll have to look for let me go look at the infantry division costs. Hold on. So, excuse me, South Korea has one replacement point. Now you can save those. You don't have to use them immediately. You can use, it costs one replacement point to flip over a reduced infantry division, plain infantry. It can't be mechanized or anything like that. So I do have a couple of cases. So I've got these guys down here. So that's a division. Yeah, I'd definitely rather do the division. That's a division there. We've got a couple divisions here. Well, one division and a brigade. I think the brigade costs the same, so I'd rather just use if I have one replacement point, I would rather use it on a division and not a brigade. So where do I think I need, I'm not hurting nearly as bad up here yet, but where do I do it here? Or do I do it here? That's the question. I just have a feeling that this part over here could potentially be lost. And I don't want to think that way, but now we do have, if you look here, we've got this U.S. brigade that has been reduced, but the U.S. gets its own replacement points, so I can't do anything with that. And I think it would cost more than one to do a mechanized infantry brigade. That's a striker brigade. I think it would cost more than just one. So I think Seoul is more important than the eastern side of the peninsula, as much as I hate to say it. So I'm going to do this. I'll use that replacement point. Get that guy back over to his full strength side. And now let's look at air units over here. So here's the situation here. That's an F-16. What is that? He's a 433. That's a U.S. Air Force. I think I will spend those 2 points to flip that guy. Now you can combine like units. So if you have two reduced, like these F4s, you can combine those two into one. You don't, the other side doesn't get victory points if you do that. But you can combine like units. How many? Oh, all of those F4s are, geez, those guys took a beating. So basically, I could combine those 4 damage units and create 2 full strength units with it. What are they? They're 3/2s. That's what I'm going to do. All right. So I get 2 full strength units, but they have different pilot ratings. So what you have to do is you have to draw. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I get a 9 or a 10, then I'll just reroll. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get that one. He's in the flown box. I will do 3, 4 through 6, 7 through 9. So 4. So it looks like we got both of the good ones back. So these guys will go to. I don't want to put them in. I don't necessarily want to put them in the damaged. Or not the damaged, but the eliminated, because they technically weren't eliminated, but whatever. So the B-1 bomber, I looked at that. There's only certain units that you can bring back from being eliminated. B-1 bombers, unfortunately, are not. So that B-1 bomber is going to stay permanently over there. So that is it for... Oh, hold on. I've got China up here, too. All right, let's see what China's going to do. I think this is reconsolidation. The term for it in the book is the reconsolidation of combining damage units together. I think I'll reconsolidate these two. Well, let me see. How many... No, actually... I have quite... At the moment, I have quite a few supply points. So North Korea has 40. So I think I have the supply points. Oops, hit the table. So I'll spend, that's 4. So we'll go down to 36. So we'll do this. Because we're definitely going to need those air superiority fighters on down the road. Because it's not going to get better for North Korea. They don't get any, there's no new aircraft coming in. What we have here is what we are going to have for the rest of the game. Actually, it's going to dwindle down every turn as units get destroyed. And what is that guy? He's a 3-0. Yeah, is he even worth? He might not be even worth bringing back. And then that bomber. That's so tough. That's a tough call on North Korea's part because they really don't have a lot. But I think I will spend the 2 points. Flip that guy back over. Let's see here. We had some pretty good ones too. Those are, well, when I say pretty good, I use that term loosely. It's good for North Korea. That's about, they don't really have much better than that. But I think I'm going to leave that as is and call that good. All right, so we have added victory points. So right now it looks like China is at 28 and then Taiwan is at 23. So it is going to be a contested turn because you have to have at least 12 VPs in a turn, and neither side was able to get 12 VPs. Let me see. North Korea has 44. That was an amazing turn for them. And then South Korea has 9. So that initiative VPs is 18. So it is still an initiative turn for North Korea, which is good for them. They definitely need it. Now we are going to roll for weather. So a 2, that makes it clear. And then this is going to be a big deal right here. Let's see here. And it is summer, so you add +1 to that. Did I do that over there? It's still clear over in Taiwan, even with that +1. So +1 to the die roll. That's a 6, so that means overcast. I don't think that'll affect the air stuff a little bit, but not too much. Now let's see. So that was initiative. We don't have a storm. Random events. Let me get my random events card out and let's see what happens. All right, so random events, that is in supplement 1 for those of you that have it. Let me grab, all right, let's see here. So you roll for each side, so we'll roll for China and Taiwan and North Korea and the South Koreans. So here goes China first. So that's a 24. Enemy ammo shortage. Rotate one enemy headquarters or artillery unit to no missions. So that's good for... That is good. So what we will do is we will do this one, I think. Is there any other ones? Where's that blue one? Oh, you're way over there. Yep. We will definitely do that. So no missions. We definitely want to, now that we've cleared this city right here, we definitely want to push in. Let's see what Taiwan gets. That's a 46. So that is refugee support. Reduce friendly air mobile points by -1 for the turn. Do we even have any? We do. So we will do, we have 7 air mobile points. We will now go down to 6. All right. Now let's bring it over here to Korea. Here we go. So blue die will be the 10s die. So this is for North Korea. North Korea got a 65. Quartermaster Graft. Roll D10. Reduce enemy supply points by half the die roll. Ooh, that's not good. So 1 supply point. That's about the best. So the Allies lose 1 supply point. That's not as bad as that could have been. Here goes South Korea. 47. Refugee support. Reduce air mobile points by -1. Okay. Air mobile points. All right, there we go. So that's random events. Let's see what else we got to do next. All right, so now we have to do our UN resolution die roll. And let's see here. So Taiwan is tactical surprise. So if we roll a 10 or higher, there's a +1 to that die roll. So I'm just using basically tactical surprise, resolution, +1 die roll. So we're going to keep on fighting. And then in South Korea or Korea, it is a strategic surprise. Let me see. What did I do? Oh, you know what? I didn't modify that by the posture. So yeah, it wouldn't matter. Even if it was a totally aggressive posture, that's a +2 to the die roll, so doesn't matter. And then for Korea, we will say that it is a +2 to the resolution die roll again, so... And that is still not good enough. It's got to be higher than a 10. So we will keep on fighting in both places. Now, let's look at the intervention levels. So these are the intervention levels for Taiwan. And these are kind of where each... Oh, can't even see that. Let's do this. There we go. So hopefully the camera doesn't fall over. But you can see, like, so for each country, I have kind of where they're sitting at. So if we want to roll to find out if their position changes or not. So this is kind of where we're sitting at, right? So Japan's at a 1, US is at a 2, Canada's at a 1. Everybody else is at a 0. Well, Canada's not, because they are now at an intervention level 1. So what I think I'm going to do, now that Korea is involved in it, Japan, this is going to make Japan really, really nervous. I think, seeing what's going on, right? Japan can read the writing on the wall. And what I think they are going to do is, because Korea is now involved in this, Japan is automatically going to escalate to... What is level 3? Level 3 is Marines, Airborne, Theater, Weapons, and Basing Rights. And then level 4 is everything. So let's see here. Well, I don't have Japan on there. I haven't rolled for them or determined what their posture is. But let's just say, so on a 0 to 4, Japan will bump up their level. They're gonna bump up their intervention level just because they don't like what's going on. So from a 0 to, let's go 0 to 5. So there's a 60% chance they'll bump it up to level 2, and then a 40% chance that they'll bump it up to level 3. We're not going to go full intervention with Japan yet because we'll see how the war progresses, right? So 0 to 5 is level 2. So Japan said, you know what? We're automatically going to go to level 3. So we will go to level 3. So does the U.S. follow suit? Right now, so this is in Taiwan. So let me see what would also happen is I'm going to say, so this is the Korea card that I have. Japan's going to go to level 3 in Korea as well. The U.S. has already committed level 4 in Korea. I think they will maintain a level 2. You know what? Let's say a 20% chance. So a 0 or a 1, the U.S. will match Japan's level in Taiwan. So the U.S. is like, nope, we're good to go. Now let's go ahead and look at the different players here. So we'll go with Taiwan first. So United Kingdom, they have a -3. So if we roll higher than a 10, right? But that's -3 because they're being very passive right now. But we will say that they get a +1 now because Japan has escalated. So you still can't roll a 10, so that's not going to happen. Australia, this DRM is going to be an ever-increasing DRM. Like each turn, it'll go up +2 because Australia, being that they are in the Pacific, so they have a little bit of skin in the game. So their admin and their military is both -1, but their popular vote, the people, are kind of hawkish. So they have a -1 with the +2, so that is a +1. So basically, we need to get a 10. So we need to roll a 9, basically. And look at that. So Australia has decided to intervene. There they are at a level 1. Now Australia can influence the United Kingdom, I would imagine, but they're not going to at the moment. Let's see if Canada bumps up. So they have a +3 to the die roll, so a 7 or better. Look at that. Man, how does that happen? So Canada has now, that's that whole Anzac thing, right? So Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. So Canada is now at a 2. France, I think, is going to kind of hold fast. So we need to roll. Actually, you can't even roll you can't roll a 10, not on this die, because a 0 is considered 0 in this one. And then the UK is good. Who else did we have? I don't know if I determined anything for Germany, did I? No. All right, so I think this is going to be it for Taiwan. Let's see what happens. All right, U.S. and Japan have already been decided. Let's see here. Canada is a 2 in Taiwan, so maybe by default they'll go to a 1. In Korea, let's see, who else changed? Yep, Australia will go to a 1 as well. In Korea. All right, Germany. Does Germany increase? So we need to roll a 9. Almost. Man, that's a high rolling die right there. Other Europe. Nope, it's not going to happen. And where is the other one? Let me see here. I think the PRC, North Korea right now doesn't need to apply a lot of pressure to the People's Republic of China because they seem to be doing pretty good right now. So I think I'm going to leave it as is. Russia is a -3, so Russia's not going to do anything. Other Europe, what do we have? They're a -2. Yeah, nothing's going to happen with them. So there we go. So now what I need to do, now that... So these intervention levels will take effect at the end of this next turn, rather than me going and digging out all this other stuff and other units and all that kind of stuff, because it is technically the next game turn now. So there we go. Things are starting to escalate in the Pacific.